So Travis, how long have you been superintendent in Surry County?
So, Bill, I'm going on 10 years in Surry County. I started in January of 2013.
Wow, 10 years. You got to be one of the most senior superintendents in North Carolina.
I think I rank in the top 10 in
Yeah.
the state as far as seniority.
Yeah. First of all, tell me a little bit about Surry County. How big is it? Kind of the socioeconomically, the nature of the district?
Yeah, so Surry County, we have about 560 square miles. So geographically, it's a large county. We're in rural northwest North Carolina. I have 20 schools, 11 elementaries, 4 middle schools, 1 STEM magnet school, 3 traditional high schools, and 1 early college. And just most recently, we've started an online school. It's an online magnet school. So that's number 20. Surry County is, as I stated, in rural North Carolina. Agriculture is our largest industry. We have focused on STEM education for several years. We have many advanced manufacturing jobs right there in the county. And I think that's, as a school system, we've tried to focus on those jobs, those skills that are necessary for our students.
Yeah. So STEM, rural county.
Yes.
Tell me the connection. Why do you think STEM is important for a district like Surry?
Surry County, if you go back pre-NAFTA, Surry County was a large textile manufacturing county where lots and lots of jobs were in hosiery mills, t-shirt mills, sock factories. Those jobs left. So what we have done or what we have seen is many of those jobs have been replaced by smaller businesses, but the advanced manufacturing has remained in some higher technical trades. And it's important for us to teach those skills in our schools to make sure our students have those skills that employers need.
Yeah.
Because we think it's important for our students to know what opportunities are available right here at home or in Surry County. What's available in Surry County where you can live, work, possibly, so you don't have to go outside the county to look for a job.
Yeah. I've been in the county, as you know.
Yeah.
And, it'd be a great place to raise a family.
It is.
But you got to have jobs.
Got to.
Yeah. You also said online. Why do you think you approached the online school, and why is that important in 2022?
Well, for 9 years, we have been working with online instruction, really trying to create flexible opportunities for our high school students. I believe, our Board of Education believes it's important that students, they learn in our traditional brick and mortar schools, but really to take that to the next level, they need the flexibility to potentially have college classes, internships, externships, pre-apprenticeships, apprenticeships. And so we started the Surry Virtual Academy 9 years ago, which was really just for our juniors and seniors in high school. And we were paying our own teachers to teach those virtual classes. Then COVID struck. We saw the need for even more flexibility with remote learning. And so we started our own online magnet school so that we wouldn't lose enrollment to other magnet or online schools. And we thought that was real important. And we've continued with that school. And we now have a principal and 7 teachers.
So it's worked out well.
It's worked out well. We have to continually change and adapt and look at that structure. I think it's important to understand what other virtual schools are doing in North Carolina and in the nation. And so I think it's going to continue to be a structure that we adapt and have to be flexible with.
Yeah, good. 10 years as a superintendent. Travis, reflect back. How has the challenges of a superintendent, a school board, central administration changed over the last couple of years because of the pandemic and the politically divided nation we live in? What's the difference today in the seat you sit in versus when you started 10 years ago?
Well, Bill, I think everything we do today is scrutinized with a microscope. 10 years ago, I just didn't see that kind of scrutiny. Even in public, you didn't see that kind of scrutiny. The job's always been a public job. It's always been a public-facing job in which the superintendent was the face of the school system and certainly had to be able to justify decisions and actions. But under the last 2 years, we have seen that scrutiny just take to a new level in which we have to be consistently careful with what we say, with what we do, how we speak, how we act. I think it's important that our leadership is steadfast and strong during this difficult time, and that we don't allow others to see us crack, if you will. We've got to be steadfast and strong for our students and our communities, and we've had to totally flip our leadership lens and look at things from a much different perspective. And the superintendent has kind of always been this omnipotent one, this all-knowing, this person that has all the answers. Well, the last 2 years, we've not had the answers. And we've really had to rely on other superintendents, on other school systems, on other communities, and our health officials to understand what we were faced with, because we were being asked to make medical decisions when we are not medical professionals. So the role of superintendent was very much reversed, and many of our communities look to us for leadership and guidance, and a lot more than just education. And so I feel like superintendents have taken that on. We've fed children, we've taken care of families, we've made sure they had hot spots at home, we've made sure they had technology to do remote learning, we've taken care of vaccination clinics, we've hired additional nurses, additional nurse assistants. We've taken on a lot more than just education, and through that I have come to know and understand the business side of the school system from a whole nother lens over the last 2 years. It's given me greater perspective on the previous 8 years of superintendent.
Travis, this morning you heard me present about the changing, advancing technology. And one of the video clips I played was of Bill Whitaker, the CBS anchor who does 60 Minutes. And I showed how with this GPT-3, a kid in your school, a community member in your school, could take and have a picture of and a video of one of your teachers, one of your principals, a board member, you, type in anything they wanted to say, and it would appear on video as if that person actually was saying it. When you think about that, I worry about what's that going to do to the impact of our schools? How could that be misused like crazy? And while we talk about technology, I'm afraid, Travis, we don't spend enough time really thinking through, what are the skills we need to teach kids? Like, how do you use that technology? And the reason I tell you that is, last weekend, I had 4 of my middle school grandchildren together, and I showed them the video. Oh, they thought it was great. They loved it. And began to talk right away about how they could have fun with it. And they really weren't talking about bullying other kids, but it could be.
Sure.
It could be bullying the school superintendent.
Yes.
It could be bullying a teacher. What's your reaction to all of that? And what does that mean? We need to teach kids and prepare our staff to know how to handle it.
I think my first reaction is probably much like yours, fear of how it could be used. And then my second reaction is the superintendent paranoia of how it could be used against you. I don't have the answer or the solution. I think each and every day we live our life, and we have to put forward the very best version of ourselves. And I tell my principals every day, you've got to make truth deposits into that bank. Truth deposits. You make those with your community. And eventually you're going to have to make withdrawals. And that could be a situation where a superintendent has to make a withdrawal from that truth deposit bank that they've invested in through the years with their community. I definitely think our IT staffs are going to have to be ever vigilant to know and understand what is happening, how it's happening. And I think from our perspective, our responsibility with that technology and other technologies is help our students understand the power, good and bad. And I think, as you mentioned this morning, digital citizenship. As a citizen of this great country, you have responsibilities to be a patriot, responsibilities to be loyal, responsibilities. And that carries on in a digital world just like it does in reality. And I think for educators, certainly we know education, but to no education on the digital side, we're going to have to continually learn and grow. And I think that will certainly test us and will test our students.
Good. Final question. You're in Learning 2025.
Yes, sir.
We're working with a group of North Carolina districts trying to bring them together to bring some critical mass in these smaller districts so that we can really leverage change in instruction in our schools. Tell me, how do you think Learning 2025 or SPN in general with our consulting team, how can we be most helpful to school districts like Surry County?
I think you're being helpful by bringing us together with a common vision of the future. And what I find myself, and I mentioned this earlier at the superintendency over the last 2 years, I have been bombarded with managerial tasks as a superintendent, the business side, which is important and it has been important. The other side of the job, it's so important that I look ahead, that I can understand what's coming so that I can better prepare my district for that. I can better prepare the 1,100 employees that work for us in this community of 75,000 people that we serve and the 7,500 students that we serve. It's my job to always be forward thinking, and this network has allowed us to really sit down at a round table and share ideas, good, bad. What do you think? Give me feedback. And building those relationships on a group of people who are thinking ahead, innovative thinkers and doers, helps me prepare my district for the future, helps me be a better leader, also helps me lead my team with the idea of being future driven, future focused. And I think that's the new role of the superintendency coming out of this pandemic. We've got to continually look ahead, not behind. And that's the kind of the proverbial reset button that I keep telling my team we're going to hit. And I've wanted to hit that reset button for over a year now, coming out of the pandemic. We tried last August and we weren't there yet, but coming out of this summer, going into August, I really feel like good things are ahead of us, and we're going to continue to look forward. This group of like-minded folks, their strength in numbers, will continue to help each other grow, trial and error, and sharing the good and the bad. I think we'll all be stronger because of it.
Great. Thank you. Anything else you want to add before we shut down here?
Well, I appreciate your professionalism and the fact that you're always looking ahead, helping us as educational leaders. I think you've understood where we're at and understand where we're going, and I think that's important. Sometimes people don't have a vision of what the future looks like, but you have a way of putting it in terms that helps us grasp it and create a step-by-step process of getting there. So thank you.
Thank you, Travis.